Queen Cleopatra VII, also known as Cleopatra, was the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. While Cleopatra's reign and her interactions with the Roman Empire have been extensively documented, there is no direct evidence to suggest that she faced racist controversy during her lifetime. It is important to note that the concept of race as we understand it today did not exist in the same way during ancient times. The society in which Cleopatra lived was diverse, and Egypt was a melting pot of various cultures, including Egyptian, Greek, Roman, and Persian influences. Cleopatra herself was of Macedonian Greek descent, tracing her ancestry back to Ptolemy I, who was one of Alexander the Great's generals. However, in more recent times, there have been discussions and controversies surrounding the portrayal of Cleopatra in popular culture. Some individuals have argued that Cleopatra, being of Greek ancestry, should be portrayed by actors of Greek or Mediterranean descent, while others believe that an African or Middle Eastern actor would be more appropriate due to Egypt's location and historical interactions with those regions. These debates have touched upon larger discussions of representation, cultural appropriation, and the importance of accurately reflecting historical figures in media. It is worth noting that Cleopatra's appearance is a subject of conjecture, as there are no surviving contemporary images of her. Most of the representations we have today are based on artistic interpretations from various time periods. Overall, while Cleopatra herself did not face racist controversy during her lifetime, discussions and debates regarding her portrayal in modern times have sparked controversy and raised questions about cultural sensitivity and historical accuracy. The controversies surrounding the portrayal of Cleopatra mainly revolve around the issue of whitewashing in popular culture. Whitewashing refers to the casting of white actors in roles that historically belonged to people of non-European descent. In the case of Cleopatra, the most notable controversy emerged in 2010 when it was announced that actress Angelina Jolie would portray her in a film adaptation. Critics argued that Jolie, who is of European descent, did not accurately represent Cleopatra's historical background as a Macedonian Greek ruler in Egypt. They argued that the role should have been given to an actress of Greek or Mediterranean descent, or even an actor of African or Middle Eastern heritage, considering Egypt's geographic location and historical connections. Similar discussions and controversies have emerged in other adaptations of Cleopatra's story. The most famous portrayal of Cleopatra in popular culture is the 1963 film, Cleopatra, starring Elizabeth Taylor. Taylor, a white British-American actress, was heavily criticized for being cast in the role, with accusations of whitewashing and cultural appropriation. Proponents of more diverse casting argue that it is important to accurately represent historical figures and provide opportunities for actors of different backgrounds to portray such characters. They argue that casting actors who are closer to the historical background of the character not only promotes inclusivity but also provides more authentic storytelling. On the other hand, some argue that the portrayal of Cleopatra as a white or fair-skinned ruler is historically accurate, given her Macedonian Greek ancestry. They argue that Cleopatra's lineage and her interaction with the Roman Empire should be the determining factors in her portrayal, rather than her geographic location. These debates highlight the ongoing discussions about representation, diversity, and historical accuracy in the entertainment industry. While Cleopatra herself did not experience these controversies during her lifetime, the discussions surrounding her portrayal shed light on the larger issues of race, ethnicity, and cultural representation in popular culture. Here are a few more points to consider regarding Cleopatra and the controversies surrounding her. Historical bias. The controversy surrounding Cleopatra's portrayal also intersects with the issue of historical bias. Much of what we know about Cleopatra and her reign comes from Roman sources, primarily Roman historians such as Plutarch and Cassius Dio. These accounts were written years after Cleopatra's death and were influenced by political and cultural biases. As a result, the historical narratives about Cleopatra may have been shaped by these biases, which could affect how she is depicted in popular culture. Orientalism, a term coined by Edward Said, refers to the Western representation and portrayal of the East, often perpetuating stereotypes and exoticizing non-Western cultures. Cleopatra, being an Egyptian ruler, has often been subject to Orientalist portrayals that emphasize her sensuality, exoticism, and mystery. These depictions can reinforce stereotypes and distort the historical reality of her reign. Evolving perceptions. The controversies surrounding Cleopatra's portrayal reflect the evolving perceptions of race, identity, and representation in contemporary society. As our understanding of history and cultural sensitivity evolves, there is increased scrutiny on the accurate representation of historical figures, particularly those from marginalized communities. The discussions around Cleopatra reflect a broader movement toward inclusivity and a demand for more authentic and diverse portrayals in the media. Lack of historical accuracy. It's important to acknowledge that there is limited historical evidence about Cleopatra's physical appearance. There are no surviving contemporary portraits or sculptures of her, so any depictions of her are artistic interpretations. This lack of historical accuracy adds another layer of complexity to the debates surrounding her portrayal, as different artistic representations can vary widely. Importance of context. When considering the portrayal of Cleopatra, it is crucial to understand the context of the production or adaptation in question. Filmmakers and artists may make creative choices that prioritize storytelling, aesthetics, or other factors. Balancing historical accuracy, artistic interpretation, and the desire for diverse representation can be challenging, and different productions may approach it differently. It is worth noting that the controversies surrounding Cleopatra's portrayal extend beyond the issue of racism and touch on a range of complex factors, including historical accuracy, cultural representation, and the intersection of identity and power dynamics.